Greetings, friends of 3D, and welcome to Bob's School for Shaderhackers. Today we're going to learn about how to install the tools in order to make the Helix mod debugger work. And we will be starting with Lesson 0, the prerequisites. Prerequisites are simply the tools that we need. It's going to include those things being circled right now. And we're going to start right now. This is the preliminary setup. We need to hack shaders. This is a very easy setup, but I'm trying to make it clear so that all of the pieces are in place so that we can do more complicated stuff later. This is about 15 minutes. Let's start with the ensuring that your user account is admin. This is necessary because otherwise we run into problems with the games. Type user into the start menu search, choose user accounts, check your administrator user account to make sure that you can administrate this fine computer. If you don't have it, change your account type to administrator, because otherwise the Notepad++ will fail on the install and some of the game installs will complain about not being able to access their directories. Next up, we're going to go to the game The Ball. This is a famous game that everyone loves. Not exactly, but we're going to do it anyway. And the reason is because it's free, and that way we can all look at the same game and the same setup and the same results. So run Steam. I'm sure you all know what Steam looks like. I'm going to align these so that it's easier to see what the steps are versus what's actually happening. Go to the store page and type in The Ball in the search box. Is the easiest way to find the demo. You can see the Ball demo in the list. If you have the game The Ball itself, that's fine as well. All of the things that we learn here will work on both the full game and on the demo. So go to that page. It'll probably ask to make sure that you are not a youngling. Go to Download Demo on the right and download this fine 850 megabyte game to your computer. Probably worth creating a desktop shortcut as a convenience to avoid having to go to Steam and all this other stuff. And away it goes. That'll take about 4 minutes. So we'll just sit here and watch the bar as it fills for about 4 minutes. You knew that was why this video was so long, didn't you? Okay, not really. We're not going to wait for that thing to go. We're going to jump ahead to launching the game, and now we're switching into 3D mode. If you want, you can pause the video and change your settings so that it actually displays properly in true 3D, or you can view it in this current mode, which is side by side. This is how Shadowplay records 3D video. So we're going to launch the game for the first time. Wait for the usual C++, C runtime setup madness. And now we have the game running in 3D with Unreal Technology, Tripwire Interactive, and the usual I did this. So there you go. You can see that the ball is in 3D clearly. You can see a few glitches in 3D as well. I'm going to change the volume down so that it's not quite so annoying. I'm going to change the resolution up from the default to the size of the screen. And critically, I'm going to invert the mouse, otherwise I can't play this game. Okay, now we're running at 1920 by 1080. You can see the bloom on the light on the ball is actually pretty bad. There's some sort of a side-by-side problem. It looks terrible in 3D. If you see it in side-by-side, you can see that they're both on opposite sides of the ball. There's a halo around the edge of the ball, and there's a halo or a shadow of some form down in the fog by that plant. Those are the sort of things that we're going to fix in this game. You can see that we are running in 3D vision with the usual green text, and fair is probably not too bad a rating as far as this game unfixed. We will make a snapshot of our before position so we can see how good it looks after we fix these things. We won't go any further into the game at this moment. We're just going to go ahead and fix the glitches that are at the starting screen here under the assumption that those will show up later in the game as well. Going to go ahead and set the depth and convergence the way we want, save the configuration. If you turn up the convergence, you can see that bloom light separate even worse. And that's all we're going to look at for the moment on the game itself. But that demonstrates that the game has been installed correctly. So we finished the first section, and 3D vision turns on, and it's annoyingly flawed. We're going to switch back to 2D now in the video. If you want to change your settings, now is a good time. Next up, we're going to take a look at Notepad++, our text editor. And you can use any editor that you prefer, but we're going to use Notepad++ in the class. So let's go to that link, open the link in a new window for convenience. And we can see this is the newest version, and we're going to choose the green download button. No fooling around with this website with craziness. Just downloads the installer. And this is incidentally why we need to have an admin. If you don't have an admin here, then this won't work. This run is asking for the admin privileges, of course, so now we are good. You do the usual click through, and I would suggest making a shortcut on the desktop too, just for convenience. And as we finish, it will launch the Notepad, so now we can look at Notepad++. Nothing particularly special about Notepad++. It's a good editor. It works fine. There's no particular advantage to using this editor because it doesn't understand ASM shader language, but it definitely works fine for our purposes. Okay, so that's it for Notepad++. You probably have taken a little look at it. Now, there's an optional step here if you want to assign the text files to automatically open in Notepad++. Otherwise, they automatically open in Notepad, which is not as good as Notepad++ because some of the files tend to be on the big side. So what we'll do here is we're going to make just a blank text document. Then you can see that Notepad has added something to the context menu. You can always get there that way. So you can see that we can edit the file, and that's certainly a viable way to do it if you don't want to change your defaults for your text files. If you do, then let's right-click on that and then do Open With, and choose the default program to change the association for .text to Notepad++. So Notepad is currently the choice there, which is certainly acceptable, but a little bit more primitive than ++. He's not in the list, so let's go to Browse and find him. You will note that it actually opens program files if you're on Windows 64-bit. We go to Program Files instead of Programs Files 86. Notepad++ is a 32-bit program, so we have to go into 86 to find the exe. He is there, and now we're going to go ahead and do the assignment here. And so always use the selected program to open this kind of file. That will change the file association for .text. Be sure that's actually what you want. Now we're just going to demonstrate that that actually works. Double click and there's Notepad++. So anytime Helix Mod generates a .text file, we'll now be able to double click the file and actually see it immediately in Notepad++. Okay, so we're done with the text editor setup and installation. Next up on our list is we're going to install the famous Helix Mod debugger that you've heard so much about. This is actually quite a lot easier than it seems. We're going to start by going to the Helix Mod blog itself where all the games are listed. The reason to do this is so that we can find the actual DLLs directly instead of just having a link. I'm going to turn off the 3D vision in the browser because it makes the video get crazy. So go directly to the home page, look for the nav bar and guides. Guides includes all of the debuggers and some other tools. We're going to go under Advanced Users because that's us. We are advanced users in Bob's School for Shaderhackers. Look for Helix Mod Debugger DX9. This takes you to a list of all of the old versions, all of the different versions of the DLLs. The one that we want, of course, is the debug version. Later, after you fix the game, you'll use the release version, but for our purposes, we want the debug version. The most recent one is the top of the list. Grab that zip file and download it, smallish, and open that with 7-zip or whatever your favorite tool is. And now that we have the DLLs downloaded, let's take a look and see what we've got. There's a couple of different variants in here. Injection mode is different than wrapping mode, but we're going to use wrapping mode to start with. Drill down into the debug version and select the D3D9 version. We don't want the x64 right now. We're going to do 32-bit games. Extract just that single file to the desktop is probably the most convenient spot, but anywhere you like is fine. We're going to take that file and drop it into a game folder. Now that we've got that DLL downloaded, that's the small piece that we need in order to do our job. We just need to drop that into the game directory itself. So now we want to navigate to the balls game directory, which in this case is given that path there. Program files, Steam, if you're using the Steam version, it's Steam app, Steam common, the usual path. And we need to drop the DLL into the binary folder where the game actually is. So in this case, we actually go 2 more levels deep, which is in binaries and Win32. Steam apps common, the ball demo, and now this is the ball installation, so we're going to go to binaries, but the game's not there, it's actually in Win32. And if we scroll down, we can see the ball. Here's the path to compare, in case yours might be different. There's other places you can get the demo as well. It doesn't have to come from Steam. Now that we have that, let's go back to the desktop. We want to move the D3D9 DLL that we got, Helix DLL, from the desktop. The easiest way to do that is to select the desktop and find it here. We'll copy that instead of moving it. That way we'll leave it on the desktop in case we want to drop it someplace else. Go back to where we were. Drop it into the right next to the ball, right next to the EXE. Other games sometimes are different spots, but this time it's right next to the EXE. And that's it. It's installed. We installed the Helix Mod debugger into the game folder. I know I'm excited. Now we're going to run the ball and look for the red debugger text. Okay, now we're switching back to 3D to see the game actually running in 3D with the Helix Mod debugger actually working. Sorry for the change in the microphone here. I'm not exactly a pro at doing this video editing. Never done it before, in fact. So hope it's not too terrible. We're going to run the ball, You can see it's in 3D because we're getting the side-by-side, or you've switched it to display properly for your particular setup. And at the top you can see the red text, which is the debugger text for Helix Mod. I'll go into more depth on what those numbers mean at the top. The basic story is vertex shaders and pixel shaders in the area being circled now. And there's some other information further down, but mostly it's the count of the number of shaders. We'll take a snapshot of the actual display there to demonstrate that we actually have it working. And that's all we need from the game for now, so we're going to go ahead and quit and switch back to 2D to post the results on the website. Now that we've demonstrated that the Helix Mod debugger is working correctly, we are going to finish the job by demonstrating that we actually did what we said we were going to do. Let's go to the wiki, and we're going to upload our snapshot that we made with Alt F1 to demonstrate that we have a red text at the top of the picture. So go to the wiki and choose Create Account in the top right corner so that you can make your account. You'll need an account in order to upload files. Once you set up the account, you can put your email address in if you want. It doesn't matter except for getting notifications from other people. Once your account is been created, you'll be logged in immediately. And once you're logged in, you can see that the tools on the left-hand side is available. If it's closed, you'll want to open that disclosure triangle and then choose Upload File. And Upload will let you choose the file that you want to make. No way to tell which one these are, but I happen to know the last one is the one that I want. You probably know which one you want as well if you made multiples. And what we're going to do here is we're going to copy and paste the file there so that we get a secondary copy to change the name to be a JPEG because the wiki doesn't understand anything about JPS like usual. Now that it's a JPEG, everybody knows what it's about. One small mistake there by having it chosen wrong in the list. Let's choose it again, and we open it. And now you can see that it's been uploaded the thumbnail and it's ready to go. And back in our list, we're checking, and looks like we're ready to go. Let's go ahead and scroll down and click the upload button, upload file. And we wait for the wiki to fetch it, and there it is. So now that file is in the upload section, not in your user section just yet, but all files are available in the upload section. And they'll have some sort of a name that we want to choose there that will give us a link. So we're going to go ahead and copy that name just for convenience, and we're going to type it into one of the wiki pages using the crazy wiki syntax. Now that we have that, go to your username by clicking it in the top upper right, and it'll say you don't currently have a page, so go ahead and create your personal page. The reason to do this is we'll put a bunch of these sort of quizzes on your user page so that you can see your progress as we go through this. Lesson 0, that was pretty easy overall, you have to admit. Of course, we didn't do anything except install the tools yet, but still, it's progress. That's the file name, and then we're going to go back here and copy this crazy syntax, which gives us the file that we want, and it'll show up on the wiki as a JPEG. The syntax is the same as any other wiki, and it's actually the same tool that they use for Wikipedia. So if you know how to edit Wikipedia, you know how to do this. So just editing that so we get the right syntax. The 700 pixel specifier there keeps the image from being too gigantic. It makes it more of a thumbnail. Click preview instead of save because sometimes things don't look too good and you want to make small edits. But there you go, looks pretty good. That's what we wanted. We've got our picture. You can see how far off that bloom light is in this side-by-side image. And you can see the red text at the top of the image. Once you're satisfied, click the Save page. I'm certainly satisfied. I hope you are too. That's it. You've demonstrated that you can make snapshots with the Helix mod debugger actually running. And that's all we have for this lesson. But all the tools are installed and we are ready to start the rest of the process.